Welcome this evening to our presentation on speed and scalp, high action trading in the markets. And so we're going to get to our presentation in just a moment. I want to give a little bit of time for people to get in and get settled. I still see the numbers rising, so that means everyone is still kind of getting their seat, so to speak. I do want to thank you for joining us this evening and taking time out of your busy schedule to be a part of this presentation. And I do hope that you get some kind of a tidbit out of what we're going to share today. A lot of what we're going to share is based on our experience in the markets for 17 years. And so you name it, we've done it when it comes to trading. So today, again, we're going to be talking about speed and scalp trading. And if you can be successful with that kind of an approach in the markets. So again, I want to give just a little more time here for people to get in and get settled. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to get those into the text box. As I'm presenting and Troy in a moment is presenting, Ron is going to be answering those questions in the background. And then towards the end of the presentation, we will be answering those questions live if there's anything left unanswered. So with that, I am going to go ahead and officially begin. And let me start by saying welcome to TJ. TJ is with us today on the call, and he's going to be interjecting here and there in the presentation. So Troy, say a quick hello.
Hello, everybody. Happy to be here this evening. Hope everyone had a good session today. And we got some good stuff in store for you.
All right. I know I definitely had a good session. I'm going to show you some trades in a moment, some really quick trades. That's what the topic is about today, high action and quick trading. So before we get to that, let's get into the presentation here and talk about a few things. So let me get my PowerPoint going. First of all, before we begin, I do have to put up a statement of disclaimer here that says, we're going to be talking about trading strategies and futures and Forex, and in that process, we're going to be showing results. There is the potential of losing, so keep that in mind. So you've got to be responsible in your trading. Make sure you put on proper risk whenever you're trading. And so anyways, we do need to make that very, very clear to you in this process. So today we're going to be talking about, can you scalp your way to trading success? We'll be demoing the PTU trading strategy, and we'll also tell you about how you can get involved in the university. Again, let me say welcome to you. And I just want to cover one more time for those that might be arriving a little bit late what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about, can you scalp your way to trading success? We're going to demo the PTU trading methods. I'm going to go to the charts here in a little bit. I'm going to show you a couple of trades from my own personal trading today. And I'm going to kind of show you the PTU method of trading. And then Troy's going to come on. He's going to show you Trend Jumper and how he uses that approach in his trading. So we're going to show you those two strategies. And then at the end, I'm going to detail a way that you can get involved with the university and master these exact trading systems and get your trading account kind of juiced up and going. And so with that, let's get into the presentation. And my PowerPoint's not moving. There we go. So first of all, a little bit of a history on NetPicks. We go way back when it comes to being on the internet, and Mark started the company back in 1996. When he first started the company, he actually delivered his stock and options picks via fax. That's how far back it goes. And if you're on the call and don't know what a fax is, that means you're dating yourself. You're pretty young, but that's a means of transmitting, paper basically over the telephone, and that's how he did it back in the very beginning. We were, I think, the third company on the internet in this particular space, so we've been around a long time. We've had the opportunity to train thousands of traders, in 105 different countries. We totaled that up one time. And we were kind of surprised at how many different countries we've been able to reach with our trading approach. So, again, this is Brian Short. I'm in the top right there on this slide. Mark Soberman, the founder, and my partner is the top left. And Troy is going to be on the mic here, has been on the mic. He is in the middle section there. And then we've got Will on the call today. He's actually just kind of behind the scenes recording this. And then Ron, who I mentioned bottom right there, is going to be answering your questions. And we've got Bob, Mike, and Kevin that also support the NetPicks team. So it gives you a little bit of a picture to put with the voice. And so let's dive in now to the presentation for this evening. So first of all, I have a question. Can you scalp 3 to 4 pip trades on the Forex and be successful? And so I'm going to pause for a second. Jay just answered yes. So if a few more of you want to think about that, Joey says yes. Ed coming in here saying no. Maureen saying yes. Jay saying if you don't get greedy. So we're getting a pretty good mix of yes and no's. I'm going to give you my answer. Here it is. A big fat no. I'm going to be honest with you. You heard me say that we've worked with thousands of traders. I don't know, I cannot name one trader right now that I know of that is successful in this mode of trying to get 3 or 4 pips out of the market. And I think there's some problems with that approach, especially in the Forex market. So I want to kind of talk about that next. This is why Forex day trading, where you go for the very small trade profiles, is flawed. Okay? So here are some things that really are against the Forex trader that you need to keep in mind. Okay? So as I mentioned, we've been in this 17 years. We've seen people succeed, and more succeed at futures day trading than at Forex. And here are some of the reasons why. Okay? First one is lack of centralized trading, right? In Forex, you know that broker A can reach a price point that broker B never gets to. All right? So you can have 2 different traders trading the exact same system, and one can have a totally different result than the other because of this issue. If we go back a little bit in history, Mark and I actually started we were trading a fund. This goes back a number of years, almost 8-9 years ago. And this was in the early days of Forex. And on one occasion, I had the broker we were trading with reach 40 pips past what the I would call the average price was. And I had to battle and battle with that broker to say, hey, this was not fair. You extended way past where you should have in that case. So the point I'm trying to make here is every broker can make a price point wherever they want to in their price ladder. Okay? It's not centralized. So there's constant complaints over the difference in these setups and executions, stop-outs, targets being missed. We get emails all the time on our system saying, we never reached this target objective, or we were taken out of this trade and you weren't, and that's the reason. Okay. Next bullet point here is there are crazy commissions on Forex, and what we mean by crazy is when you look at the commissions, you know, Forex is touted as commission-free, right? But you are paying a commission, and you know that, and it's actually on a percentage basis of your trade, especially when you're going for 3, 4 pips, maybe 10 pips, even 15. On a percentage basis, it's huge. You know, it can be anywhere from 2 to 10 pips. So think about that for a second. That is a huge percentage of your overall trade. On the futures side of the equation, yeah, we pay commission. In some cases, we're paying, you know, $2 a round turn, or up to $3 a round turn, depends on the broker you're with. It's on a percentage basis much, much less. So next bullet point here is the deep freeze. And when I traded Forex for 3 years during the European session, and had a lot of gray hair come in during that time, but the European session for me was 2 a.m. in the morning to 5 a.m. And there would be numerous times when red-rated news reports would come out and I couldn't take action. I couldn't exit my trade or enter a trade. I'd be sitting there pressing the exit button or the entry button, and what would happen? You would get what we call the deep freeze. You could not take action on your trading, either to get in or get out. That doesn't happen in futures. That never happens on my futures trading when I'm trading. If I want to mark it in, I can mark it in at any point. If I want to get out, I can get out instantly. So it's never a problem. In Forex, you have the arbitrary widening of spreads, right? Same issue. You have a red-rated news report. What do the brokers do? To protect their butts, so to speak, they widen that spread. And in some cases, that widening can actually take you out of a trade. All right? Again, never happens on the Forex, on the future side of the equation. And let's see. So those are some of the main reasons why we think Forex day trading is really difficult at best to be successful. Now, some of you answered yes in the response to could you be successful in scalping on day trading. And you might have success for a period of time, but I think in the long run, you've got these items right here against you. And why not remove these and go to a market and an option that doesn't have these constraints? So that's kind of the point we're trying to make here. We obviously think day trading Forex is flawed, and for these reasons. So let's take a look. When it comes to day trading, we encourage you to think futures and not Forex. Okay? But on the swing side of the equation, Forex is a great option. In fact, I'm going to show you some results here in a little bit that are just amazing on swing trading Forex. And the reason we recommend that is when you start to swing trade Forex, you're looking at trades that are going for 200 pips. All right, you might be risking 200, going for 1-to-1 ratio. But what happens in that situation is all the issues that I just listed in the prior slide become a non-issue, right? And by the way, the other thing I didn't mention on that other slide was slippage. Slippage can be huge sometimes in Forex. Slippage, we can have slippage in futures too, but that's another issue that I just happen to think of. So anyways, on swing trading, those issues kind of go away, right? And same on stock and options. When you're trading higher time frames, your commission becomes a smaller percentage of your overall trade, right? And so for those reasons, that's why we say swing trading Forex is a good option. But we're here today to talk a bit about more active trading, day trading. So let's talk a little bit on the futures side of the equation now. You know, in Forex, it's touted that there are $3 trillion a day that's traded, and it's a very liquid market. And for that reason, you should consider trading Forex, right? Well, the same could be said of futures, and I've got a table here that shows you the liquidity in futures on some of the different instruments that we look at when we're trading. First one, S&P E-mini. That's a very popular instrument, right? Has a daily average volume of 2.6 million contracts, 180 billion in value exchanged. One of my favorites is crude oil. It has 600,000 contracts traded on a daily basis, 53 billion in value traded. Those are, you know, some pretty big numbers. Very liquid markets. Soybeans, 232,000. Okay. So again, futures has very, very good liquidity, and you can get involved in these markets and be very successful in trading these markets. When it comes to trading, you know, we like to let you know that trading is not a marathon. One of the worst things a brand new trader can have happen to them, do you know what it is? I'll give you a second to think about that. So my question again is, what is the worst thing that a brand new trader can experience when he first comes to trading and he puts on his first trade? He wins, right? And the reason I'm saying that is in their mind they think, wow, that was easy. All I have to do is do this more. And they end up spending more time in front of the computer screen, more time in front of the charts, more time trading. What inevitably will happen is, in the long run, they will give it all back, all right? So trading is not a marathon. It's not about how long you can sit in front of your screen and trade for hours on end. It's more about how little time you can trade. That's the approach we like to take. We use what we call power of quitting. And I know that sounds negative, but actually we look for opportunities where we can get in and get out and get done, get our winner, and move on. We also put time constraints around our trading too. We trade certain time slots, and we detail that all in our trade plans. It's all detailed out. But anyways, our point here is, don't be tempted to sit there and just churn out trades hour after hour. You're going to have fatigue, right? You're going to get tired. You're going to make mistakes. You have more exposure, more risk. So try not to do that. On the flip side here, when it comes to scalping, as I mentioned before, we have not seen I cannot name one trader that is a scalp trader that's looking for that small scalp trade to try to be successful. I don't have a name right now. If there's somebody on the call, you want to send me an email saying I'm successful, I would be happy to talk to you. I would be interested to see what your approach is and how you're doing it. So some of the things in scalp trading that we've talked about so far, let me kind of recap that our issues are: one, you've got to be very quick, obviously, with an approach. You need an approach, right? You got to be quick on the button. You've got to be very good with your broker at execution. All right. So secondly, a lot of times what we see when you're scalp trading is you're trying to, go for 2-3 ticks, but you might risk twice or 3 times that. And so, yeah, you might have a series of winning trades, but you end up giving it back with one loser. Can wipe out a lot of profitable trades. So that's what we typically see when it comes to scalping. All right. Let alone the fact that you have costs on your commissions that become a larger percent of your trade profile. And then slippage. If slippage is any part of an issue in the market that you're trading and you're trying to scalp, if you're trying to scalp 3-4 ticks, 3-4 pips, and you have a tick of slip, that's 25% of your overall trade profile. Even if it's 10 pips, 1 or 2 ticks of slip, that's a huge percentage of your overall profile. That's why scalping is so difficult. And so if you're brand new, you've never tried scalping before, I hope you can take some of these things to heart and maybe not even go down that road and try it. I know it's very tempting. Here's the reason why it's so tempting, right? As a brand new trader with maybe not a lot of funds, right, you look at it as limited risk, right? You're only going to go for maybe 4 or 5 ticks. You're only going to risk 10 ticks. It's a very small trade profile. That's why it's so attractive. But again, I'm going to say we don't have anybody that is successful in that mode, okay? So we believe that you need to look for a system that tries to take 10 to 25% of the daily trading range, and that is the trade profile that you go for. And I'm going to get into more detail in a little bit about that, how we size our charts and how we look for certain trade setups in that mix. There is a secret formula, and I'm about to reveal it. All right. When I did this presentation on the road, I would always joke that my clicker to advance just broke, and everybody would laugh. So I'm virtually hearing you laugh. So, but here it is. Here is the holy grail about to be revealed when it comes to trading. First of all, and this is obvious, right? You've got to find a system that puts the odds in your favor. Let's talk about that a little bit. One of the common stats that's quoted, right, is the winning percentage. We like our trade systems, when we develop them, to be in that 65% win zone, right? 1/3, 2/3. You're going to win 2/3 of the time. You're going to lose 1/3 of the time. That's, like Troy likes to say, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. If you start to see results outside of that, you've got to beware. I'm sure you've gotten the emails that say 95% winners, right? Do you ever ask yourself, well, what's on the losing side of that? Yeah, it only loses 5% of the time, but how big is the loser? I'm going to guarantee you, every time I see that email, I know exactly what it is. It's a one-trade wipeout situation. All right, so you've got to be aware of that. On the flip side of it, and I talked about this on Tuesday, do you think you can be successful with a strategy that wins 35% of the time? I'll give you a second to think about that. The answer is yes, you can be successful. And that kind of a system is going for the home run hits, but it takes a lot of losers in between those home runs. So from a trader's psychological standpoint, I don't think many new traders can stomach that kind of an approach. So with that said, that's why we like to have our systems fall in that 65% zone. All right, so that's some of the keys to look for when you're looking for that. So find a system that puts the odds in your favor. Pretty basic, right? You need to find training to execute the system, the strategy. and all the trading nuances of that system, if there are any. Starting capital is very, very important. The presentation I did on Tuesday talks about building your trading business. And in there, it's very obvious. If you can start with more money in this process, it is easier. You're putting a little bit of pressure on yourself if you start with a small account. Why? Because you're tempted to risk more, right? You're tempted to risk more, and then, if you start out of the gate with a series of losing trades, it shakes your confidence more. And so the more capital you can start with in this business, the better. If you're going to be an active day trader, like we're going to show you in a moment, we're going to show you some active day trades, you need to be able to commit 1 to 2 hours a day. Now, there's some different zones you can start in. It may not be what I do. It might be during the Eurozone. It might be during the Asian session. It might be, at 8 o'clock in the morning, a U.S. session. But you have to commit 1 to 2 hours a day. Don't do this. I get this email quite often from individuals that say, Brian, I can trade Monday, Wednesday, and maybe Friday during the U.S. session. And I respond back to them, no, you can't do that, because your results probably go through the whole week, and you are just picking and choosing days arbitrarily that you can trade. So again, you got to be consistent in the process if you're going to commit to active day trading. Discipline, patience, all very key to trading. Once you find a method, an approach you like, you've gone through your back testing, you've built your trade plan. If you need to modify it, you've done your modifications. You've got to stick to that once you implement it in the market. It's something we kind of reiterate inside the university, and we know that traders have a hard time with this. Discipline is probably one of the areas where traders fail the most. Okay. And this is our focus, like I mentioned, at PTU. Killer trading systems plus exceptional training and support. So with that, what I want to do is I want to take you to the charts, and I'm going to go to PTU first, and we're going to show you the PTU method, and then I'm going to switch over to Troy, and he's going to show you Trend Jumper and some of the trades he took today. So give me a second. I'm actually going to switch the presentation to my trading computer and show you some live trades that I actually took today. So 1 second. Okay, so let me get to this set up here. All right, sorry for the pause. I need to get stuff out of the way. So this is actually RB. RB is unleaded gas. And let me see if you can see the chart okay. Yep, looks like you can. So let me just kind of cover what you're looking at here. And PTU has a number of indicators that I'm not going to go through everything. One of the primary indicators that we use is down here in the left-hand side of the screen here. It's called the PTU Trend Power. This indicator, very simple. When it's red, the trend is down. When it's green, the trend is up. Okay? And one of the concepts we have with this particular trading approach, we are only looking for shorts when the trend indicator is down, and we're only looking for longs when it's up. Okay? And one of the things I want to point out to you is we have very clear entries, target objectives, and stops that are plotted on the chart. We have what we call a very powerful calculator. We teach you inside the university the reason for this trade setup, but then the calculator is kind of the workhorse, and it actually puts the trade setup on the chart for you. All you have to do as a trader is follow what this says. Obviously, we want you to understand why it's doing what it's doing. That's important too. Right? And so we have a target 1 objective and a target 2 objective. Okay. Now, one of the secrets to the PTU approach, the method that you're looking at here, is that we don't trade the same size bar every week. That changes. And there's a very simple calculation that we give you. It literally takes 10 seconds to calculate at the beginning of the week, and that is the size that we trade for the whole week. And the concept is pretty simple, right? Markets get very active and they get very inactive. Volatility changes, right? Markets get volatile and they get non-volatile, or they get very quiet. And so with that mechanism, we are constantly sizing the bars that we use to engage the market. And so our trade profile is going to change. This change is very slight. It might change 1 tick per week. It might stay the same for a period of time. But that is a key ingredient that we kind of discovered way back when we were in the initial development of this. Mark and I were trading this particular strategy, and we had hit a series of 3 months where it was on fire. And then all of a sudden in December of that year, actually things kind of unraveled a little bit. And it was because we were trading the same size bar through that whole time. And once we figured out that we needed to adjust the size, that was kind of one of the key ingredients to this particular approach. And so that's why we do that. So what I'm showing you here is actually a trade that I took this morning on RB. It's a get in sync trade. I'm not going to get into the detail there, but you can see the trade setup came at 8:33. We start trading RB at 8:50. Okay, so it's a get in sync because the trade setup actually came before our start time, and we had the opportunity to get on board that trade. Now this is 9:01 right here. This is my start time right here, 9:01. This trade entered our entry point and went to our full target within 4 minutes. Now that is high-speed trading right there. We had plenty of time to get into this trade, and you can see the exit. I always like this is what I call my perfect day when I get this situation, and this is the second time this week this has happened, by the way. And I typically get one of these a week on RB. So it's always nice to get this situation where trades get in and get out. Now other days it takes longer. We have a trade window that I talked about, a time window where we trade from, in this case, 8:50 up till noon Eastern Standard Time. But like today, this particular market, I'm done very quickly. $525 per contract traded. So very, very nice trade, quickly done on RB this morning. Let me take you to silver next. Very similar situation. And the point I want to make here on silver is, we're trading a 0.035 bar on silver. It's the exact same method. You're going to see the same entry point. Okay, we haven't changed a whole lot here, and we've got our target 2 and our stop down here. And you can see same scenario. We were in at 9:33 on silver and out at 9:47. So this one took a little bit longer. But again, a nice result on silver, and out for about $525 there. So those are just 2 markets that I actually traded, took these trades live today. And this is, again, the PTU, what we call the PTU 2.0 method. And so with that, I am going to turn it over to Troy. If there's any questions on this at the end of the session, we can definitely cover that. So Troy, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you show Trend Jumper.
All right, great. Thank you, Brian. And let me get my monitor up and running here. One of the things about scalping that has come up for me over the years is always, what is it? I mean, what's the definition? Everyone's got a definition of what a scalp trade is. To some, it's just kind of getting in between the spread and trying to squeak out a couple ticks of profit. I mean, that's the traditional, that's what the floor traders were doing, and a lot of the traders that were in there trying to get, kind of sneak up on the market makers and stuff. And I think for us traders at home, we're not really doing that sort of technique. A scalp trade could just be a few ticks. It could be something that is designed to be quick, lots of action. Scalp trading, I've had a lot of experience with it myself, and I kind of learned a lot of what Brian was telling you. There was a stretch there a few years back. I was scalping a lot. I was scalping the Russell E-mini, and I was, just trying to get anywhere from 5 to 8 ticks, maybe 10. And I had a 28 winning streak, a 28 trade winning streak going, and I was feeling pretty good and pretty confident with my method. But when the losses come, even if you're winning 90% of the time, they can come in clusters. And I hit a small losing streak. It certainly wasn't double digits. You can count them on one hand, basically, but it literally wiped out all my profits on that hard work of 28 trades in a row. And that's what got me thinking there's There's got to be a better way to trade. So for me, scalping exists still in my trading, but it's dictated to me by the dynamics of my chart. I've got a trade strategy that kind of adjusts to market conditions, and sometimes the trade would be a scalp trade. I mean, you might consider, like for example, on wheat here, I'll start showing you trend jumper. Today's trade, just following the trade plan, it was just one little trade right here. And because of the dynamics of the strategy, let me make it bigger so you can kind of see. I mean, the target was only 4 ticks away, 1 point. I mean, that's $50, right? You can pretend it's the S&P E-mini, one point, $50, right? Is that a scalp trade? You get in, 4 ticks later, you're out. You got a successful trade. I mean, if I look back earlier, this is before the trade time, but there was a trade that triggered in back here, and it hit a target up here. That was 4 points, and then it trailed even further all the way up. Okay, same strategy. That's not a scalp trade, though, is it? Would you think that was a scalp trade? For me, to be successful with scalping, you have to have a really good risk-reward ratio on your trades. With trend jumper, you're usually going to get better than 1-to-1. On some of the real small trades, it might be a little less than 1-to-1. In this particular trade it was. But I like to trade these with 2 positions because, like this earlier trade here on the left, you have the chance to turn a scalp trade into a home run trade. So if I'm putting on a trade and it fits what that loose definition of scalping might be, I'm going to be giving myself the chance to actually transform that scalp trade into a large trade. And so in a way, I'm trying to have my cake and eat it too. Okay, so that's a pretty good concept that you might want to think about when you're trying to scalp. Here's another definition of scalping I think you might at least get you thinking about. Could a scalp trade be more about time involved in the market and not necessarily the size of the trade? Because let's face it, on this wheat chart, for example, it's a 200 tick. I mean, what if you're trading a 600 tick, or a bigger time frame, but it only takes you 2 or 3 minutes of invested time in the market? Is that a scalp trade? I mean, think about it for a second. Maybe we could stretch our definition. Okay, I like to think outside the box. So the reason why I bring that up is because I spend 2 or 3 minutes per trade with my Forex swing trading, and I am going for the big trades, over 100 pips most of the time. But if it only takes me 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'm done, I don't have to look at it until tomorrow. Could we call that a scalp trade? I don't know. Just something to think about. So let me show you a good example of the trend jumper. All these markets, I think, you can consider scalpable markets. They're markets that are going to give you high frequency, lots of action. But does that mean we have to be in the market and continue trading? Or can we just take one good winning trade and have a successful trade business? Because if you can just take one good trade, get in, get out, get done, grow your account steadily over time, you're minimizing your risk exposure to the market, aren't you? So you're kind of mitigating the problem that Brian was talking about earlier by just being in the market too much and possibly giving your profits back. All you have to do is just increase your position size as your account grows. You don't work harder, you work smarter. Okay? This is the Dow E-mini. This was today's trade in the trade room. Got in right here. Any trade that's above the green dotted line here is going to go long for the most part. A few minor exceptions that we teach in training. If the trade is below the green dotted line, we go short. So when you're at the right edge of the chart, for example, and it's good to have some sort of structure so you know what you're actually doing, right? Brian showed you on the PTU strategy. Trend jumper is a lot the same way. You got your entries, the little plus sign, your targets up here. They're a little bit dynamic depending on the market, but pretty much they're the same for most of our markets that we're trading. You got your stop down here. You click on the bar, you can see in the data window your entire trade laid out before you. So before you even get into the trade, you know exactly what you're doing. You know where your exit's going to be, where your stop's going to be, and the trade plan even details how you're going to manage the trade once it triggers in. And the numbers are nicely laid out in the order of the dots, so your eyes get used to knowing exactly what to look at. So you place your order, you put in a bracket, where you got your order sends order, and then it turns into an order cancels order. So your target and your stops are attached. When one triggers, the other one cancels. A great way to trade. This one triggers in today, and it hits the first target where we're exiting half our position. That's 11 points at $5 a point. It's 55 bucks. Is that a scalp trade? Probably. I would think it would be. But look at how the stop moved up, locked in profit for the trailer, and actually had us in position to catch a bigger move. So it's kind of a hybrid, isn't it? We're able to scalp, but we're also able to put on a second position, eliminate the risk entirely, and we have an opportunity for a much bigger move. And today it wasn't really a much bigger move. It looked like it had the chance to become one, and the stop kept moving higher and higher, even a little higher, and it looked like it was going to go. But it hit some resistance, it came back down, and that trade stopped out for 13 points, the second half of the position. So in one trade, we're able to make 24 points, and that's it. That's our trade plan. We're done for the day. And this particular strategy has been, the equity in this strategy has been growing and growing and growing, and I don't have to be Iron Man and trade through the session. As my account grows, all I have to do is increase my position size and take advantage of some money management techniques. And that's classic trend jumper trading right there. Another market that you might consider a good scalpable market is, any of these really. The Euro futures is an example of a good one. Heating oil. I know you have Forex traders in here, and someone was asking about trading Euro futures as a possibility. I wasn't going to show this, but I figured, what the heck, let's take a look. I mean, you have to determine a good start time. I like looking at the U.S. session because I'm on the West Coast. But, you got the same thing working here. You got your dotted lines, you've got your entry, your targets, your stop. And, I like to go to the third target if I'm trading the Euro. So let me just show you something. If I put my entry here and my stop here, this is how much I'm risking, right? If I'm going to the third target, it's quite a bit larger. Not a lot larger because it's still a small trade. The bigger these trades get, the bigger you see the risk-reward ratio. But in a scalp trade, if you could have a reward that's greater than your risk, and you've got a nice winning percentage too, plus you can keep on half your trade for a much larger move, and the Euro could be explosive, then you've got a nice approach to trying to trade quickly, minimize your time in the market, get in, get out, get done, and be very successful. And at $12.50 a tick, you can see this one went from 2932 up to 2944. So 12 ticks at $12.50 a tick. That qualifies as a scalp, doesn't it? So, I mean, this is just an example of what Trend Jumper is. I'm showing you a scaled down version of it here. But the point is that you've got a lot working for you. You're looking to take advantage of short-term, discovering where the short-term support and resistance levels are, and then jumping off of it for quick and immediate profits. That's the whole premise behind Trend Jumper. And I do use it on end-of-day Forex with great success. And like I said, one other quick story I'll tell you. I showed the other day in a webinar a Forex trade that was on a 15-minute day trade, and it took over 16 hours. I mean, it was a great trade. It just kept going and going and going, made about 160 pips. But, I mean, you literally have to be managing that trade every 15 minutes. You're moving your stop. You're following the plan. I mean, really? You want to be in front of your computer for all that time, hours and hours and hours and hours? I then showed an example of the very same trade, only on a daily chart using the end-of-day strategy that I like to use, and it took me 3 minutes. I literally took 3 minutes, and in a day and a half later, that trade was exiting for about 160 pips with the second half still trailing. So, ask yourself, what's a better approach? So maybe you can think of that end of day strategy as a way to scalp swing trade just based on the time invested in the market. I mean, is that a better way to trade? I personally think it is. Anyway, Brian, I mean, that's a look at Trend Jumper. If we want to look at more examples, maybe we can in the Q&A, but let me hand it back to you.
All right, thanks, Troy. Appreciate that. Let me get my presentation back up here. Okay, I want to take a few minutes now and just kind of walk you through how you can get involved with Premier Trader University if you're interested. So I'm going to give you some detail here. I'm going to show you some results in a little bit. I think you'll be impressed with that. And so we've got some other specials for you here in the presentation. Anyways, so let's talk a little bit about the university. And first of all, step one. And let me state first that the university was created by us because we wanted a better way to engage traders, a better way to train traders how to trade. Our approach in the past had been we would take a strategy and basically plop it in your lap, so to speak, and then we would have some support there, but we would kind of walk away and let you figure out all the other things, all the other nuances that go with trading, trade psychology, making sure you're risking the proper amount on each trade, and just the overall support. So that's how the university kind of came to be. We wanted a better mechanism to be more interactive with traders and to help them be successful. So we've got a kind of a three-step process that we have you go through, and I want to detail that here over the next few slides. First step is we have a number of prereq videos that we want you to go through. We've created about 16 hours of content that take you through the basics of trading. And so if you're in that intermediate to advanced zone, yeah, there's going to be some things in there you already know, but I've had some advanced traders tell me, hey, I learned something from that, and it was beneficial for them. So we ask everyone coming into the university to go through that training. That creates a level playing field for our next step, which is the undergrad course. And the undergrad course is coming up here next Tuesday and Wednesday. We're going to be doing that live via a webinar, so you can attend that in the comfort of your own home, the comfort of your own office. So that training is live, online, very interactive. You can go back and forth with myself and the coaches that are teaching you the method. Mark will be teaching the PTU 2.0. Troy will be teaching Trend Jumper in detail. And we'll take, 6 hours each of those days, and by the end you're going to be your head's going to be spinning, but you're going to have a lot of good information over those 2 days. And at that point, we want you to come out of that process kind of determining which method are you going to use in your approach. And so that's coming up, and that's the undergrad course. Next, we have the majors, and this is where you specialize in one of the areas that you're going to trade, whether it's futures, forex, or stock and options. And you can select, I encourage you to select one of these and focus on it. You are going to have access to all three. And in fact, just to give you a little history on this, in the very beginning of Premier Trader University, we gave you one of these as a member, and then we charged you for the other two. And we quickly kind of did away with that. We wanted to give everyone access to all three of these. So I encourage you again to, if you do join up, focus on one area, become an expert in that area first, and then consider moving on to some of the other ones. So here are some of the bullet points that we cover inside the majors. The best times to trade, calculating the time intervals, the advanced techniques, adjustment. I haven't talked about art of trading, but that's something we teach you. If you don't know what the art of trading is, that is basically looking at the chart and realizing that there are key levels on the chart that, if respected, can filter trades, can filter, you can filter trades from being triggered. In some cases, I've had trades where I pull my target in a little bit because my target was past the low of a day or the high of a day, and it just didn't make sense to try to ask for the market to reach that 1 or 2 ticks extra. And in a number of cases that I can remember, I actually got a full target where if I would have been stubborn and not worked around that level, I wouldn't have got the full target. So those are the kind of things we teach you inside the university. So we, again, have, just to recap, futures, forex, and stock and options when it comes to the major selection. And here's some of the markets that we cover in each of those. In futures, you've got the Dow, the Russell, crude, the DAX. The metals, you've got gold and silver. I talked about my silver trading this morning. You've got treasury, ags. My favorite right now is wheat in the ags, but you've got soybeans. I had a member email me just yesterday talking about corn and how that was working for him really, really well. So you've got corn as an option. On the forex side of the equation, you've got the euro, the pound. You've got the euro yen, the Aussie US, a number of different options. And I think you'll be surprised in a moment. I'm going to show you where we're having the most success, and it's not where you might think. It's not on the euro USD. It's not on the British pound. And then on stock and options, you've got any of the stocks that are moving, like Apple, Google. Any of those stocks are great potential trading instruments for you. So I talked about this a little bit, the art of trading. This slide shows you really the difference. Trading the system straight up is what this first column is. So on the euro, this is some recent results, just to give you a feel. This particular trade plan generated 450 pips straight up, no art of trading. But if you paid attention to some key levels and some small adjustments, that's the kind of profit you could get. So that's what we're talking about, making a difference. On the Russell E-mini, system straight up, $2,600, almost $2,700. Another $1,000 to your bottom line if you pay attention to, what we call the art of trading. And same on the DAX. I mean, the DAX and the crude is like just blaringly obvious. Look at the percent increase, 83%. So you go from $6,000, which is a good return, to almost $11,000. So again, those are some of the things we'll teach you inside the university. You can trade it either way, but as you will experience as a trader, there are just times when you don't want to ask the market to break certain key levels, and that's what we teach you. So here's some very recent results from PTU 2.0. And in the next slide, we're going to have Troy go through some of the results of Trend Jumper. But you got natural gas, $2,700 per contract. Unleaded gas futures, which is one of the trades I showed you from today. And this is from the first of the year, $4,000 per contract. For our S&P mini futures, $1,500 per contract. DAX, $52.78. And wheat futures. I think wheat futures is a great market for brand new traders. With those traders that have, are a little challenged on the initial capital side of it, and by challenged I mean you've got minimal amount of starting capital. A great market for that. When it comes to swing trading, these results, like Troy talked about, the amount of time you have to spend on these trades is minimal, and look at the kind of value you get out of that. I mean, the euro, Aussie, $7,000 per contract traded since the 1st of 2013. Since we've been tracking that particular trade plan in October, 23,000 pips. That's almost crazy. Euro CAD, 3,800 since the first of the year, 14,000 since 2012. And the pound yen, respectable, not as good as the euro Aussie, but $2,400 per contract, 13,000 since October 2012. If you are tempted to day trade, the euro yen has been a really good performer for us, with 4,249 pips since 2013. So as you can see here, these numbers, by the way, taken straight off of our member site. We post every week the performance of these markets so that our members can see them and match up with what we see on our charts. So again, this is taken straight off of our Owners Club and the live result there. So Troy, I'm going to turn the mic over to you and let you talk through Trend Jumper results.
Okay. All right, great. Well, I've been tracking a lot of trades. A lot of them we're trading every day in the trade room. And crude oil, since October 1st, it's been pretty great. Crude's been tougher lately. You could scalp crude, I guess. Some of the trades are scalp. But it's done over $28 per contract since October 1st, and that's $1,000 per dollar So it's, close to 29,000 bucks, and it just continually making new profit levels on a regular basis. In fact, all of October didn't even have a losing session. We didn't even get one until near the end of November. Finally had a losing session. But since then, it's won 90% of all its sessions, and 19 out of 23 weeks, it's finished positive, an 83% weekly winning percentage. And if you can start trading, at the beginning of the week, and you have an 83% chance to be positive by the end of the week, that's going to give you a lot of confidence, isn't it? So that's a pretty good stat to pay attention to there. Brian, you want to go to the next one? So here's some other popular markets that have been doing really great. The Russell, up until the end of the year, 83 points. I stopped following it just from past experience, calling it live every day for 5 straight years practically. I've learned that the first few months of the year, you're probably better off staying away from the Russell, so I'll be interested again in that in April. So, but it was going strong up to the end of the year, and I just really haven't looked at it, so I couldn't tell you how it's done, although it has been winning just here and there when I've glanced. But what I've really been interested in is the Dow E-mini. I showed you an example already on today's trade, but it has just been kicking butt, and I guess since this slide was created, it was up 1,304 points, 86% winning sessions, and 87.5% winning its total, its weekly totals, and then it had 15 winning sessions in a row, basically. So that's a pretty current result up until, I think this week or something like that. And of course, we're seeing similar results on a lot of markets. Some of my favorites there down near the bottom of that paragraph: wheat, heating oil, unleaded, the DAX, even the Eurobond and natural gas. They're just all doing amazing and steady new equity profit levels just constantly. I mean, unleaded gas and heating oil are like the two stars. They're unstoppable. It's unbelievable to see them, what they do on a day-to-day basis. And we're trading them live. We're trading them live every day in the live trade room. So, there's no greater way to learn a method than to be with us live in the trade room and actually learn it in real time with us stepping you through, walking you through every step of the way. As far as Forex swing trading, I mean, this is just a sample. These results have gone up again, and I just updated them, I think, a week ago. I don't have to read them all to you. Just slowly scan and look at the PIP totals. That's going since the beginning of 2012 up until, mostly this week. It's just been out of sight. And like Brian mentioned, the pound dollar, the euro US, some of the more popular pairs isn't necessarily where all the great money is being made, although those two pairs have really come alive. Just closed out of my final position on the pound dollar today. I mean, it banked close to 500 pips on the second half of that trade. So, even though you can make a lot of money still on the more popular pairs, it's the ones you hadn't thought of that you can also just really knock the ball out of the park. I mean, some of those are up a lot further now than even what's posted by quite a bit. So, I mean, if you want to look at some of those during the Q&A, you could pop in a question. I'd be happy to show you. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, thanks, Troy. And Ron letting me know that people are wanting pricing, so we're going to get to that. Just be patient here. So I'm going to go through a few of these slides. These are some testimonials from members that have joined us early on and been active inside of PTU, so I'm going to go through these fairly quick. I will get to the pricing here in a moment. So I wanted to point out this particular testimonial from Adnan at the bottom. He's saying this is why PTU 2.0 rolling optimization idea is probably the only system in the world that I've ever come across that I can intellectually be comfortable with to trade. Adnan is actually going to be on our Hangout tomorrow. You can see him live in person. So if you're interested and want to attend that, that'll be at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Him, along with 2 other members, are going to be on our Hangout call tomorrow and be sharing their experience. So I would encourage you to take look at that again at 2 p.m. You can get to that, by the way, if you go to netpicks.com/hangout. So feel free to take a look. Myself and Troy will be the moderators for that tomorrow, again, with 3 of our members from PTU. So let's talk about some of the exclusives that you get inside the university. First of all, Trend Jumper. You get the professional or the pro calculator of Trend Jumper, which includes the stop movement, the intelligent trade management. In other words, the calculator knows if you're inside a trade or not, and the scaling and trailing. You get all of that inside the indicator. If you have purchased Trend Jumper independently outside of PTU, that is not something that you have available to you. So that, again, is a feature function you'll get inside the university. I talked about the range bar trading plans, how we size the bars. That's another feature that you're going to get and trained on. Trade Assist is something that I didn't talk too much about, but it is an option available to you. It's only available inside the university. I personally used Trade Assist on the 2 trades that I showed you this morning, which was kind of great because I was actually on the phone with TradeStation support, and I heard the Trade Assist kick off that trade. I looked up, confirmed the trade was right, and it basically took me through the process. So that's what Trade Assist can do for you. We're not big proponents of letting that automation just run blindly. You've got to be in front of it and manage it, but again, that's something that's available. You're going to get stock and options trading with Trend Jumper. We're going to train you how to utilize that potential tool, and the classes are maximized. They're set up to maximize your returns using the advanced calculator, tick range, and all the automated tools. So again, that's coming up again, that class on March 19th and 20th, next Tuesday and Wednesday. For 2 days, we'll be going through the undergrad training. So you're just in time to get involved. You can go through the prereq videos, and you'll be ready to go then for next week's class. So here's some more extras. You're going to get one-on-one coaching. We're going to give you 2 hours of one-on-one coaching. I highly encourage you to take advantage of that. Any questions that aren't answered in our normal process of training, you can get advice from coaches that include myself. It includes Will, Ron, Troy. We'll all get involved in that process. Okay. Our goal here at PTU is to give you what we call lifetime white glove customer tech support via the phone, email, and or live chat. The other thing that is really a great training mechanism inside of PTU is we have 4 days a week live in the market. Troy kind of alluded to that, where we call trades live in the market. You can ask questions. You can see both Trend Jumper and PTU in action. And we just launched at the first of the year the European version of that for everyone in the Eurozone or that side of the world. And we do that 2 days a week with James Kessick. He's our full-time trader over in the UK. Okay, so again, wanting to support you even after the training, and we've found this to be very, very beneficial in that process. So one of the things that you can take advantage of, and I highly recommend you do this, it's to me it's kind of a no-brainer. You can get the full cost of PTU reimbursed to you through the TradeStation reimbursement scholarship. All you have to do is set up a brand new account with TradeStation and fund it. And once you begin live trading, you'll get 20% commission rebates back up to the full cost of the course. Okay, and if you contact Mitchell there, I shouldn't have said his name, but that's our contact. He'll get you set up with some other special deals. So I would highly encourage you to take advantage of that. So just to recap, here again are some of the benefits of PTU. You're going to get the PTU 2.0 method that I showed you, the Trend Jumper, all the indicators, the self-paced home study course, the 2-day live fully recorded class. That's the other thing I forgot to mention. It's recorded, so you can go over and over it again if you need to, or if you can't attend, obviously you can review the material at that point. You get the 3 majors, the Forex futures, stock, and options, and dozens of trade plans written exactly for each market. PTU Trend Jumper exclusives to the university. You get the additional trading systems included in your education. Trend Jumper was sold for up to $2,000 prior to this in November. because we charge for the ongoing owners club and PTU itself. Okay, so that's kind of a value that you're getting there. The one-on-one coaching, just to kind of reiterate that, the live in the market trading every week, 4 times a week on the US session, 2 times a week on the Euro session. When it comes to the owners club, there at this point in time is no monthly reoccurring. Okay, I want to point that out. That's something we've talked about behind the scenes that we may start charging for. So just beware, if you hesitate and you come back to us in 30 days from now, we may start charging for that going forward. We do have costs, ongoing costs to pay for the coaching and the, all their involvement in that process. So here it is, what you've been waiting for, the price. For a brand new customer, PTU is $39.97, or you can break that up into 4 payments of $9.99. Okay. The family discount, if you own a NetPicks course already, that would include courses like the SST, HVMM, UST, some of the courses from the past. We're going to give you credit for that, $1,000 discount. Or you can make 4 payments of $749. Now, if you recently purchased Trend Jumper, we're going to allow you to apply the full price of that, because Trend Jumper is included inside the university, right? And the professional version is inside. So you can save an additional $9.97 there. We're going to give you full credit for what you paid. All right. So all-inclusive prereq undergrad system, all the majors. We currently have 7 seats available, and I'm serious on that. We limit the number of seats per class because we want to make sure we give good attention to every person that comes on board, and we've always adhered to that. So we've got 7 seats left. If you are interested today, please take advantage. Here is... I'm going to get you the link, and I'm going to go over a few things here in a moment. There's the link to enroll, because I know some of you are anxious to get going. I can see it in the text. So if you want to enroll, go ahead and go to netpicks.com/enroll. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and get the link out to the entire audience. I'm going to send that right now. So there you see the link. So let me go back and talk about 2 other things that will be important to you. First of all, we want everybody that enters Premier Trading University to be 100% satisfied. And I mean that. That's our goal. If you're not, for any reason, you can return the PTU. Now, with that said, all we ask is that you engage this process, that you engage with us. So that requires a few things. First, you need to review the prereq videos that we talked about. 2, you need to attend the live undergrad class or the replays and go through the training. And 3, you need to install the indicators, right? Put them onto the chart, and then be serious and make 25 trades. I would encourage you to do that in demo. And it's our belief that if you go through this process, you're going to see the value of the methods that we teach you inside the PTU, and you're not going to want to return it. You're going to see how this can benefit you, how this can be a skill set that you can learn and extract profit out of the markets. And so, but we have this guarantee, and we know that if you do go through the steps listed here, you are most likely going to keep what you learn because it's going to be valuable to you. All right, and on the webinar, we do have a special. It is on the webinar only. If you're listening to this on replay, I'm sorry, it will not apply. So it's for those that are in attendance in this webinar, and you can get an additional $500 off each of the levels. If you're at the brand new level, you can get $500 off, so it would go down to $34.97. If you are a family member, you can get $500 off. All you have to do is key in this code, 500 off, and you will be good to go. So again, the link to sign up is netpicks.com/enroll. So I apologize, that's a long-winded presentation, just a few more slides to go through. When it comes to making an investment like this, I always like to think about how quick is my payback. I shared the results that are right off our member site with you earlier. But if you think about it this way, look at natural gas, $2,700 per contract. Trading one contract, you're going to get almost all the course back, depending on what level you come in at. Unleaded gas, more than paid for the course with one contract traded. S&P E-mini, if you trade a couple contracts there, you're again at the full price of the course. So again, I just want you to think about that a little bit and how quickly, once you learn this skill set, you can actually pay for this course. And not only that, if you think about the TradeStation reimbursement, you're kind of getting paid twice there in that regard. So again, netpicks.com/enroll, and I'm going to go to questions at this point and see if there's any unanswered questions. I know Ron has been very active behind the scenes. So Ron, let me know if there's any questions that you want to float my way that you were stuck on in the process. If not, I'll read down through here and see. One of the common questions that we get is what platforms are supported inside the university? So let me cover that. Obviously, we showed you the trade approach today on TradeStation. So that is one of the platforms that we support. NinjaTrader is another platform that we support. And then finally, for Trend Jumper only, you can use MetaTrader 4. Now, with that said, I really don't recommend that you use MetaTrader 4. I would recommend that you choose one of the other two more what I consider professional trading platforms, either Ninja or TradeStation. So let's see if there's any unanswered questions. Like I said, Ron been very active. Charles was asking about the results that I showed and whether or not that included the art of trading. No, those were just straight system, no art of trading. So you could actually, in some degrees, improve your trading by making those adjustments. So those were straight. And Troy, this is a common question that we get. I'm going to let you answer this one. Question is being asked, what's the difference between SST and PTU? So go ahead and take that one.
SST and Trend Jumper. That's what you meant, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question. The only thing they have in common really are they both show dots on the chart. They're totally different. SST, of course, is a fine strategy. It's still doing quite well. There's a lot of active members. It's no longer on the market. Trend Jumper is, I would say it's got fewer moving parts. I'm pretty much using the same trade plan on almost all the markets I'm trading. I don't have to, optimize and try to customize it as much as SST. SST does require a lot of more expertise. It's harder to learn, I would say. One thing about Trend Jumper 2 is that it's kind of the culmination of my entire SST experience, and just being in the live markets longer. It's more of a reflection of my preferred style of trading. But yeah, it's quite a bit different. The risk profiles are a lot smaller on Trend Jumper 2, along with the risk-reward ratios starting out at the beginning of a trade. And I think that appeals to a lot of people.
Okay, let me say that we'll start to bring things to a close. I know we went a little bit over the hour that we like to keep this at. So if you have any question that's unanswered at this point, go ahead and get it in. And otherwise, we'll be bringing things to a close. I do thank you for being with us today. And for those that have signed up, welcome to you. Look forward to meeting you in the training next Tuesday and Wednesday. That training will be put on by myself, Mark, and Troy. Will be on the call. Will has part of the presentation, and even Ron does some of the presentation. So it's a collective training from all the coaching staff here at PTU, and we'll all be very, very actively involved in that. So Troy, anything you want to say in closing? And again, I'll give just a few more seconds here for any final questions. Troy?
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for their time. I know you got plenty to do, and it's always great when we have a captive audience and we can kind of talk about trading. It's something I love to do. We're all passionate about it. We're all traders, and not really professional presenters. So thanks for bearing with us.
I will.
Go ahead.
I'll second that, Troy, on professional presenter. I don't consider myself a professional presenter at all, but am very passionate about trading and enjoy talking about it and enjoy working with individuals in that endeavor. So thanks, Troy. Appreciate you being on the call today with me. And just a few more seconds if there's any questions. Also, I do want to put up the number if anybody wants to speak with someone. Let me put that up really quick and get you that information.
There's
You
someone
have.
asking to repeat the TradeStation rebate.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I can do that. Let me pop that slide up. I have to go back a few here, so bear with me. So here's the TradeStation rebate. Again, the way it works is you have to set up a brand new account with TradeStation. This is for futures only. It's not on Forex. So stock options and futures would be included in this. And you get a 20% commission rebate on all your live trades once you begin that process, up to the full value of what you paid for PTU. Okay, so it's a great way to get your money back once you begin the live trading process, let alone the profits that you can make from your trading endeavor. Okay, and as I mentioned, when you contact them, all the contact information will be inside the Owners Club when you sign up. And when you get in contact with our lead guy there, ask him if there's anything extra he can do for you. A lot of times there'll be other things that he can do to kind of sweeten the deal, so to speak. So he's always trying to get our customers very, very happy and do anything he can to get them set up and going. There was another slide I wanted to show you. Oh yeah, I wanted the contact information. If anybody wants to speak with myself or Ron is on the phone at this point, you can give us a call toll free at 855-788-7881, or if you have outside the U.S., 214-865-6151. If you want to contact us via email, you can do so at info@premiertraderuniversity.com. So, okay, again, thanks everyone. I appreciate your time, and good trading to you, and welcome on board those that have signed up. Thanks again.